I'm here at the Curiosity Shop because today we are looking at 10 of the best items for new Deadlock players to buy, and in particular, game situations that I would be buying them in. Hey everyone, this is Connor here at Dead Unlocked, and I'm excited to get into this today. So much of what makes Deadlock complicated for the new player is trying to make these kinds of decisions without all the information, and so today I really want to simplify the buying process, at least to give you guys 10 items to buy in games. If you're a new player and you get a little bit of anxiety or panic whenever you go to the game shop, hopefully this can be a little bit of a remedy. Our first item is one that you should buy if you're playing a spirit hero and you're in the mid to late game. Maybe you're locked on slots, or maybe you're just looking to do more overall damage, or whatever it may be. I would recommend you buy Boundless Spirit. To me, this is one of the most underrated and high value items in the game, and honestly, Extra Spirit and Improved Spirit are as well for the early game, but new players may not know that this is actually the only way to gain percentage spirit power in the game. And so this is really good, like I said, for those late game situations when you're hitting diminishing returns on your spirit investment, which, in case you don't know, the more you spend in any one category, like spirit, vitality, or weapon, kind of the less you get back for doing so. And so Boundless Spirit really is this kind of incredible way to get tons of extra value going into the late game. Like I said, this is a great option if you're already playing a spirit hero. That needs to kind of be the first box you check. Second box being, do I already have a lot of spirit items? And maybe third box being, I don't exactly know what I need next. Boundless Spirit is almost always a good buy. If you're struggling in a game like all players will inevitably do, maybe your bottom soul count on your team, maybe your bottom soul count in the game, and maybe the enemy team has a Goliath kind of hyper carry that you're trying to figure out how to deal with, I would buy Cursed Relic. This is the best shutdown item in the game. Yes, you get an 8% damage penalty, and yes, it is an active item, which I'm going to try to somewhat steer away from in this video. But it's an auto aim one, it's very easy to hit, and it is the best way for you to stop, like I said, if the enemy team has this really hard hyper carry, like a Victor, maybe it's a 7, maybe it's a Shiv, who knows. This is a great way to shut down that player, and you have to think about it. If you are the lowest soul count player in the lobby, and you're dealing with the highest soul count player in the lobby, and maybe your team's behind, and you're able to make a Cursed Relic play in order to take down that player and turn the game around, well, now all of a sudden you've made one of the highest value plays in the entire game. And this is, again, one of those items that can kind of level the playing field as far as souls go. So listen, if you're struggling in a Deadlock game, all of us have been there. Don't worry so much about the rest of your build. Maybe at this point, look to get a Cursed Relic and just try to find a way to shut down an enemy team player. This should never be necessarily the goal of your build in Deadlock, not necessarily, but it is a great option if you're falling behind. You just need a resource, need a way to get value in the game. Next is our final item in the Spirit tab for this video, and that is Radiant Regeneration. If you are playing a game, basically, and you don't have great sustain through the mid-game, maybe you're playing a hero that uses their abilities a lot, Radiant Regeneration can be an unbelievable item. The base stats on it are pretty bad. I mean, you just get 65 bonus health, but you get a ton of healing every time you use an ability, and then extra regen whenever you hit enemy heroes with your abilities. So a lot of Deadlock heroes do this, but let's say you're playing a hero like Apollo who's has pretty low cooldowns and is trying to use his abilities pretty often. The passive on this only is 6 seconds, so you're really going to be able to heal quite a bit, and especially good for a hero like Apollo who's trying to be in the fights and brawl. Maybe you're playing a Yamato is very similar to this. Even a hero like Viscus could use an item like this, right? But basically, if you feel like you are struggling to keep your health bar up in some of these team fights in the mid game, or maybe you're going back to base a lot, basically if you feel like you need more healing and you're using abilities in Deadlock, Radiant Regeneration, I think, could be a great item. I think way more new players should buy this, and it can keep you on the map and in fights quite a bit longer. If you're playing a hero that likes to shoot their gun in Deadlock and you're in the early game and you're not quite sure what to buy, I would point you towards Titanic Magazine. I think this is one of the best items in the game for new players, but is certainly one of the best early game items. It just gives you so much inherent value without you having to do anything. Again, it's one of those unnoticeable items that you can kind of have in your kit where you're going to be reloading far less, able to stay in these fights a lot longer. That's something that's good for just about every gun hero in the game. And I would recommend this over a lot of the other 1600 cost weapon items in particular, because a lot of these just feel like they require you to meet so many stipulations or have a specific element to your kit or what have you. It's not that they're bad items. A lot of the items in this category are really good. But in particular, if you're a new player, I would really recommend Titanic Mag. Again, it's just a way to get passive value, keep you from reloading your gun less. I mean, you compare it to an item like Active Reload. This can be an item you get 0 value out of outside of the 20% max ammo in your game if you're missing the little mini game that it has you do, essentially. But Titanic Mag, on the other hand, just gives you that value straight up, and I think is a much better buy for a new player. But even though I was just talking about why items in this category may not be the best, I am actually a huge fan of Recharging Rush. Now, this one, the stipulation you need to meet as a new player if you're wanting to buy this item is you need to have a charged ability, and I would say not only a charged ability, but one that you really want to be using as much as possible in conjunction with shooting your gun. So like Wraith's cards are a great example. McGinnis turrets can be a great way to use Recharging Rush, right? Basically any charged ability, this will help you to replenish that and keep using that in the fight. So this is great for heroes that, again, like to kind of mix in firing their weapon and using abilities. This is another really great early game item. This is one of the new items that came to Deadlock in the last update, and I've personally had a lot better time with Recharging Rush than a Ballistic Enchantment on the other hand. So again, if you're looking for another early game gun item, I really would recommend Recharging Rush if you have charges in your hero's ability kit. But let's say you're a newer player and you're in the late game, you're playing a gun hero, and you're trying to look for what that last late game item could be. You're staring at all these really cool options like Glass Cannon and Lucky Shot, and you just aren't sure what to buy. Well, I would actually buy Ricochet almost every time. I would at least consider it almost every time because it is going to provide you a lot of uniform value in the mid to late game of Deadlock. So not only are you going to clear jungles faster, you're going to clear your waves faster, and you're also going to apply any bullet procs or any debuffs that your bullets apply on hit. And it's very easy to apply these, especially in a team fight. So if you already have like a toxic bullets or something else that your bullets do to kind of hinder the enemies, maybe like an inhibitor or something, this can be a really, really great buy for you. Again, there can be other, like, you can always make the case to buy Glass Cannon late game, or maybe like an item like Lucky Shot, but to me, for a new player especially, Ricochet is so valuable. A lot of times the enemy team is going to be grouped up. Let's say you're down and they're pushing into your base or something. This is a great way to just kind of shoot into that mass and do a lot of really annoying damage and slow down the enemy team. So if you're a gun hero and you're looking for a late game item, I would always encourage new players to at least consider Ricochet. We're going to shift gears now to a tab that is probably ignored by a lot of new players, and that is the Vitality tab. And I really do encourage a lot of new players to look through this tab more in your games. You know, surviving in Deadlock is one of the biggest ways to get value and to achieve what you want to do. And especially in the early game, I think the best way to achieve that is through extra regen. This is the only 800 cost item I want to talk about in this video, but I think if you're a new player and you have that first moment of panic in lane, you have 800 souls and you don't know what to buy, just buy extra regen. It is, I think, one of the best early game items in the game. You can make the case for monster rounds too, or maybe like a resto shot or something like that, but extra regen to me is this really great tool to help keep you sustained in the early game. It's really, a lot of times for new players, you're not using natural cover the best, you're not kiting properly, and you're going to take a lot of damage in the laning phase, and this is a great way to be able to cool off while you go run boxes, get some extra regen going, and just try to keep you in lane and fighting longer. Next up, I want to talk about one of the game's cheapest and best options for players that are getting stunned or CC'd a lot, and that is Reactive Barrier. So if you're a new player and you're playing against an enemy team that has a lot of lockdown abilities, if you feel like you just keep getting stuck or they keep grabbing you or slowing you or whatever, I would buy a Reactive Barrier. Honestly, even if you don't see a ton of that in the game, you're probably still going to find ways to get value out of this one quite a bit. It is on a 40-second cooldown, but you get a 325 barrier that scales with Spirit. This is a great way to help you get out of those pinches. Again, you don't even realize you have this item a lot of times, but I've been saved by reactive barriers more times than I can count. So again, if you're at 1600 cost, same principle, you're looking for ways to survive more, you feel like you're dying, you're getting picked, you're getting slowed, whatever it may be, I would really recommend you buy Reactive Barrier. Next up to me are the best mid-game vitality items for heroes that are already doing a lot of damage. And that is either Spirit Lifesteal or Bullet Lifesteal, depending on kind of what hero you're playing. So obviously if you're playing a gun hero, buy Bullet, Spirit hero, buy Spirit. And these also build into some really solid late game items. Infuser and Leech are great items for that one. Vamp Burst, even Fury Trance for the mid game. Leech is also good. So these items are great for heroes that are doing a lot of damage and just want to find ways to sustain in fights more. So maybe you're not so worried in the mid game about getting taken out, or maybe you have a really strong front line that's protecting you, and you just want to find ways to kind of get a little bit of that extra health, and you need to invest in the Vitality tab to maybe hit your 4.8k investment. I think these items are a really good place to start. And again, if you're already doing a lot of damage, these ones will feel very natural in the same way that Radiant Regen is going to heal you. These are going to heal you just for doing damage. So the caveat here is you have to make sure you are hitting enemies. You have to make sure you're getting the value out of the damage you're dealing, because if you're not doing any damage, you're not going to get any value out of these items. So if you can check those boxes, I think the lifesteal items are great for the mid game. They scale really nicely into the late game. And for the final item on this list, I'm sure a lot of you thought I might talk about something really exciting or fun like Trophy Collector, but no, we're going the complete opposite direction. I'm going to talk about a couple items that I think players never buy, they should be buying a lot more, and that is Bullet Resilience and Spirit Resilience. If you're a new player and you look at the enemy team, you hit tab during a game and you see the enemy team is buying a ton of spirit items, maybe 4 of the 6 heroes are super heavy spirit invested, this is one of the best things you can do in a game to shut that down. I mean, because you got to think about it, you're applying a uniform 30% spirit resist to all the damage coming in that they're doing with spirit. So these items, I think, are severely underbought. I think they're one of the best 3,200 investments in the game. And I think these, again, you have to do a little bit of, there's a little bit of counterplay here because you have to understand what the enemy team is doing. You shouldn't just buy one of these randomly. But if there is a trend of what the enemy team is looking for damage-wise and you can prevent it, why wouldn't you do it? I in particular like these items over something like Fortitude, for example, because of the delay. You kind of have to know to retreat and stay out of combat for a long time. That's something that a lot of players just aren't going to necessarily want to be thinking about. So again, we're looking for passive ways to find value, and I really think the resiliences are great. I should also note these are also really great to buy in the late game. If you're, you know, at minute 40 and you're just looking for something else to throw in the kit, you have 3,200 souls, buy the resilience of whatever the enemy team is doing the most damage with, or maybe their carry is using. So if they're a gun hero, a gun carry, and they have 3 spirit heroes in the enemy team, but the gun carry is 10k souls above them, maybe ignore the spirit heroes and buy the bullet resilience just to try and deal with that hyper carry hero. So if you're a new player and you're looking to kind of create your own builds, or you're just sick of going left to right on these popular builds that you really don't understand, I hope this guide can help you understand individual items and how to seamlessly fit them into your games in Deadlock. I really do think the shop is one of the most intimidating parts of the game. There's so many items and there's so much interplay between all the various abilities and different heroes in the game. It can feel really difficult to know which items to buy. So I hope this made it at least a little bit easier for you all. But as always, let me all know in the comments what items you might be buying for your new player. Let me know what you think of these ones. And as always, thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll see you all next time here at Dead Unlocked.